everyone, so I'm starting off by priming my eyelids with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in the shade Original, applying that all over the lid as well as up until the eyebrow. This is just going to make sure our eyeshadow stays on and doesn't crease. Then with the Balm Cosmetics Meet Matte Nude palette, I'm taking the shade Matte Sing and I'm putting that on a Morphe M330 blending brush and blending it back and forth in the crease, in windshield wiper motions up until the brow, just kind of starting a gradient effect. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But then I'm just taking the same shade on a smaller Kay Crease brush and putting it in the crease to darken it up a little bit. Then with the shade Matte Rosin, I'm taking that same Kay Crease brush and going back and forth in the crease, this time concentrating more on the crease and not as much like blending it up towards the brow. And just to make sure you have smooth lines, I went in back with that M330 brush with no additional product. And I actually forgot to put my tape on for our tape trick. So what I would recommend is before you do any of this to put the tape on, and this is going to help create a nice cat eye effect, and it's going to make it look very glam. So once that tape is on, then I'm going in with the shade Matte Garcia. This is an even darker brown, and these are all matte colors, and I'm applying that in that outer V, really blending up against that tape. That's going to create a really sharp line. Then with the Urban Decay Smoky palette, I'm going in with the shade Dagger, and I'm applying this to the outer V where I just applied that brown, but I'm making sure to just really focus on it, and I brought it a little bit forward to about mid-eye in the crease, but you have to do that very lightly because you don't want it to look like your eye's like been punched or anything. But I wanted that outer V to be very dark and smoky. If you want it to be even darker than I have it, you could go in with a black. And then under the brow for a highlight, I'm going in with MAC Brule eyeshadow. It's a satin. And then in the Naked Smoky palette, once again, I'm taking the shade Dirty Sweet, and I'm just applying this with my finger all over the lid, being careful to not really hit that crease or that darker color in the outer V. Then once that's done, I'm taking the Dual Eyelash Adhesive, and this is the latex-free one. And I'm just applying that on my eyelid and then kind of blending it out with my finger. This process can be a little bit messy. Your fingers are going to get sticky, but it's going to help the glitter stick. So this is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Glitter Single in the shade Brass. And I'm taking a flat synthetic brush, tapping it into the glitter, and then putting it on the eyelid. So that eyelash glue is really going to help it just stay on. I haven't tried this without the glue, so I don't know how well it would stay on if you just put this shadow on the eyelid. You do have to be careful with this shadow though, because it is more of a chunky glitter. You want to make sure you do not get this in your eyes because you don't want to scratch your eyes or anything. So once you get that shaped how you like it, I'm going in with a little bit of the shade Whiskey, which is a matte dark brown from the palette, and I'm just kind of going along the outer edge, almost making a cut crease, but I didn't originally start doing a cut crease because I didn't want it to be that intense. And so once you've done that, just take a little bit of makeup remover, remove that excess glitter from your face, and then I went in with the Kay Crease brush and just blended everything out once again, and then you can remove the tape and you can see that crisp line. Then for eyeliner, I know I normally always start out with my gel liner, but because we're working with such a chunky glitter, I first went in with a liquid liner to just kind of set the line where I wanted it. If I automatically went in with the gel, it would probably just smear the glitter all around. So I first applied this liner just close to the upper lash line and then kind of let it dry. And then I'm going in with my gel liner because I cannot live without this. I love the way it looks. So it's the Maybelline Eyestudio Gel Liner in the shade Blackest Black, and I'm applying this with a Morphe angled brush along the upper lash line, and then I'm starting the wing. You definitely don't need to do a wing, but I like the way it looks. So I drew a line upward and then connected it downward and then just filled in that triangular shape. I am going to do a video soon on how I do my winged liner, so stay tuned for that and make sure to subscribe. I just applied a little bit of the Maybelline Lash Sensational mascara and went in with Ardell 105 Glamour lashes. And once the glue dries, then go back in with a little more gel liner along that lash band just to kind of blend it in and hide it a little bit. And also if any glitter kind of falls down on your winged liner, you can just apply a little bit of gel liner and it will cover it up. And then it's time to move on to foundation. So I already primed my face with the Lancome Le Base Pro Primer just to keep on my foundation all day. And then for foundation, I'm going in with the Clinique Super Balanced Makeup in the shade 02 Fair. And you noticed how I did stippling motions to really pack on the foundation and then circular motions to really blend it out. This is just going to make sure that your foundation stays on longer throughout the day, throughout the night. It's just going to look better, more of a flawless appearance. And I'm applying this using the Real Techniques Expert Face Brush, which is just amazing. It's under $10. I highly recommend it. And then to brighten under the eyes, I'm going in with the Maybelline Insta Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circle Treatment Concealer in the shade Brightener Illuminator 160, applying it in a triangular motion under the eyes and then down the nose and on the chin as well to balance out that under the eye highlight. Then I had to take some concealer to cover up some blemishes. This is just one by Clinique. And I applied that everywhere I need to apply. And then I went in with the Beauty Blender to just blend everything out. Remember with the Beauty Blender to always kind of pat to blend everything in, not rub or pull. Then to set everything, I'm going in with the Laura Mercier Universal Translucent Setting Powder, applying it everywhere I highlighted. And then I like to go in with a powder that gives me a little bit more color. So I am going in with this Clinique one with a Real Techniques powder brush, applying that everywhere on my face, except I'm avoiding that kind of triangular area under my eye because I want that to stay very bright. And because this powder does have some color to it, that would defeat the purpose of why I highlighted that under the eye area. So just make sure that you blend into your neck as well with the powder to just make sure everything looks smooth and blended out. Then with the shade Matte Sing, again, I'm taking a Morphe flat definer brush, applying that under the eye, and then taking the shade Matte Rose in and applying that under the eye as well, but only the outer half of the eye. This is just to keep that area a little bit darker, a little bit smokier, but I don't want to bring that too far in. Then for liner, I'm taking the NARS Larger Than Life Longwear Eyeliner in the shade Via Veneto. This is a matte black. It's an amazing liner. It stays on all day. I highly recommend it. And then I'm taking the Maybelline mascara once again and applying mascara to those lower lashes. Then it's time to fill in the brows, and I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Taupe, and I actually have a full tutorial on how I fill in my brows, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. I will leave that tutorial linked down below, but basically I kind of do the outline of the bottom portion of my brow, then the upper portion of my brow, and then I fill it in, and then I go focus on that kind of inner portion that's closest to my nose. And that's kind of the basics of how I fill them in, but like I said, if you want more details, go check out that video that I will have linked in the description bar. Then for blush, I'm going in with the Milani Powder Blush in the shade Romantic Rose. This is such a pretty, just dusty rose blush. It's matte. I love it. I use it all the time. And then for bronzer, I'm going in with the Too Faced Sun Bunny Bronzer. You definitely could do your bronzer first, but I don't know why. I just like to do my blush first and then my bronzer, so my bronzer doesn't end up looking too intense. Because I have been known to do that if I do the bronzer first. So just applying that in the hollows of my cheek using back and forth motions, and then applying a little bit to my forehead just to bring some more color to it so I don't look quite as pale. Then for a highlight, I'm going in with Mary Luminizer by the Balm Cosmetics, sweeping that on the cheekbone right above where I put the blush. I went for a little more highlight than I normally would do today because it's New Year's Eve. I want to look glam, and I also put some on the tip of my nose and my Cupid's bow. Then I'm just repeating the same process on the other cheek. And then for lips, I started out using a Milani lipstick. I think the shade is like Nude Cream, something like that. I will list it down below. But I thought it was a little too fruity looking, if that makes sense. So then I went in with the MAC lipstick in the shade Honey Love. This is just a beautiful nude. So I applied that all over both lips. And then I was like, I need some gloss. This look needs to be really glam. So I went in with the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Creme Brulee. And then I still felt it needed to be a little bit darker, not quite so nude. So I went in on top of that with the MAC lipstick in the shade Hug Me, and it just created the perfect color. And that's the completed look.